Finally, the Polish Krab Self-Propelled Howitzer became one of the most feared main howitzers. The NATO-compatible AHS Krab 155mm self-propelled tracked howitzer has been deployed by Ukraine against Russian targets near Donetsk. The Polish government donated 18 Krabs to assist the Ukrainian military in its defense against the Russian invasion. The military support of Ukraine from Poland is very generous, in the amount of 7 billion zlotys, taking into account the capabilities of our neighbor. This is not surprising, because if Russia took over the territory of our country, Poland would be next. More recently, a batch of AHS Krabs from Poland arrived in Ukraine, but the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine wants to purchase about 60 more of these powerful self-propelled howitzers manufactured by Huta Stalowa Wola for our armed forces. In this article, we'll show what the most powerful howitzer of the Polish army is capable of. The AHS Krab is a self-propelled 155mm tracked artillery mount developed in Poland by the Huta Stalowa Wola Military Production Center. This self-propelled unit combines the South Korean K9 Thunder chassis, the British's 90mm Braveheart turret with a 155/L52 cannon, and the WB Electronics Topaz artillery fire control system. Thus it is a modern weapon assembled from highly efficient components and equipped with the highest quality electronics. However, achieving such a technical level was not easy, and the project itself was on the verge of failure several times. For the first time, the idea of creating a Polish heavy howitzer arose back in the 90s of the last century. Back then it was decided not to buy a finished foreign product, but to produce these weapons by own efforts from scratch. But it turned out to be more difficult than expected. The first KRAB variants were based on the Polish UPGNG chassis manufactured by the Bumerlabendy machine building plant. However, microcracks were soon discovered in the chassis, the cause of which the engineers could not find out. In addition, there were problems with the cooling system and leaks in the fuel and exhaust systems, which led to the poisoning of the crew. The barrel of the howitzer is equipped with a wedge lock with a vertical stroke and a 2-chamber muzzle brake, and the reloading process itself is semi-automatic. This means that the projectile is picked up by the loader and placed on a conveyor belt that automatically introduces it into the barrel chamber. The role of the second loader is to lay the propellant charge and primer. The crew also includes a commander and a driver. This colossus weighing 48 tons, fully loaded with fuel and ammunition, 52.1 tons, is controlled by a crew of 4 or 5 people, depending on needs. The 1000 HP MTU Mount 881 Ka500 diesel engine can accelerate AHS Krab up to 60 km per hour on the highway, and on the road it can move at a speed of about 30 km per hour. Despite its huge weight, thanks to the rubber pads, the Krab exerts less pressure on the ground than a conventional truck with a semi-trailer. With a fully filled tank, the vehicle is capable of covering a distance of about 400 kilometers. In its current form, that is, in the latest version, the Polish Krabs combine the AS-90 turrets and the chassis from the South Korean K9 Thunder. It should be noted that these components are manufactured directly in Poland under license, and are not delivered from factories in Britain or South Korea. Of course, these are not exact copies, because the engineers adapted them to the requirements of the Polish army and the capabilities of the industry itself. This is especially evident in the example of the chassis. No wonder it is officially called the K9PL, the upgraded auxiliary power unit and the Polish-made hydropneumatic suspension. Crew protection has also been enhanced through the use of explosion-proof, firefighting, and ventilation systems.
Getting through that, so 5 days of rigorous training, focused on communicate, moving and shooting, the bread and butter of what we do, and then moving back. So successfully did that, and then today, the culmination of all that hard work, executing the live fire, and culminating as far as that.